This is Scheme to Death with football columnist Murf Baldwin, delving deep into scheme and personnel as only he can do. And now, your host, Murf Baldwin.
Yo! Guess who's back? With another episode of Scheme to Death. What's going on, people? Haven't done a podcast in a while. Thought I'd get back to you guys in this medium just to get a few things off my chest and be able to talk long form. Because you know I can't talk, right, on my own content when I'm doing film studies, according to a lot of Karens out there, right? You just hurry up, man. Won't you hurry up and just dissect the plays, man? Like, man, the internet is wild, right? So on this joint right here, I want to talk about the offensive line, right? I think everything begins and ends with your Seattle Seahawks dealing with that damn offensive line, and of course that reverberates throughout the entire program. So yeah, so we'll have that, do a little bit of that there. I might get the dumbasses of the week as well, right? You know what I'm saying? You know I got to do that a little bit too as well. But what's going on out there in top Billin land? Happy holidays to all my top Billin villains out there. Much love to all the supporters out there. Man, so much love to everybody out there who works with positive vibes in life, trying to do their thing there, not really concerned what the next man is doing. So much so that you put them on a pedestal in your life, if you get what I'm saying there, right? So we get a little bit of that here going on at the channel, man, but definitely excited to be talking on a podcast here. And man, I was just sitting around thinking about it. I'm like, damn, man, the Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, definitely one of these teams on a major come up. And I talked about it before, right? Covering the Atlanta Falcons, right? A team that one of the first teams that when I got in this business, well over a decade ago now, one of the first teams that I covered, right? I mean, the first team that I covered was the New Orleans Saints. So I always liked to, at least back then, would cover a team and then cover the rival team as well. I don't know why I like doing that. My motto when I first got in this business was I felt so strongly about my football knowledge and ability to assimilate just no matter what, right? I could tell you about anybody's team and anybody's market. And I would always say, you drop me in any market and I feel like I can compete with the best in that market, right? And that rang true, man. I was, you know what I mean, before, let me see, I had to get my timeline right. It's been a while now. Started off with NFL coverage, right, at SB Nation. It was the New Orleans Saints. I forget what their site is called, right, doing the film studies there. And this was film studies by way of writing, right? So I write 1,000 words and then do the film study breakdowns where you do kind of the still image, right? You put the arrows and all that shit was real time consuming back then. Hell, it's real time consuming now doing the video element of that, right? But just a little bit different there, right? I actually missed the writing element. Right? I don't know if people know this or not, right? A lot of people, they don't actually know you on the internet. They think they know you because they obsess over you, right? Especially if we're talking about haters and shit like that, right? But I didn't start on YouTube, right? 99% of the people you guys probably watch on YouTube started on YouTube, right? I come from the actual business. You might be tuning in, you don't know my backstory or nothing like that as far as the media goes. I was writing at newspapers. I was writing on digital newspapers. I worked all around on the internet as far as working at SB Nation. Then Bleacher Report found me doing numbers at SB Nation. I used to kill it with the New Orleans Saints content, right? Then I moonlighted doing the Atlanta Falcons, right? At the time, I actually lived down south in Atlanta, so it worked out that way. I wanted to see if I could do not only the film study shit, but do sort of the breaking news type stuff as well. So Did that for a little bit, man. Did radio, right? I was real heavy in the radio. One of the reasons why I even wanted to get in the media was to be on sports radio. I was able to do that in multiple markets, including Yahoo Sports Radio. When I switched to college football, I did Rivals Radio, right? Yahoo Sports is Rivals Radio. And, it was a nationally syndicated radio show there. But, man, I appeared on countless, especially with college football, right? I was real hot in the college football market. Think about where the landscape was 10 years ago as far as this type of stuff goes, right? You didn't have too many people doing film studies and shit like that. If you can really think about it, right? A lot of people, when you're haters, you're not going to agree with some shit like that because it sounds super cocky or whatever like that, but it's not. It's the truth. I was a sort of a pioneer on the media front, you know what I mean, doing some of the stuff that I've done. So, which would be doing the film studies, but the way that I was doing them, and then especially when I switched over to YouTube and all that, like a lot of people weren't doing this shit, right? And especially not a lot of black people, right? So I was definitely on that front right there. I remember going to certain places and shit where the media would gather, and I would be one of probably one or two black people in the whole joint. So at the time, man, you would have a lot of people who would contact me and say that they were interested in doing it and all that. So I've never been the type, though, to help people like that. I'm be honest with you, I'm always like that. I'm just competitive like that. I always feel like if I'm trying to make some money at something, I'm not trying to help somebody else make money at it too, right? There would have to be somebody that I feel with, that I mess with the long way, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? No diddy, if you know that expression there. So I say that to say this. Despite not being a Seattle Seahawks fan, right, I'm a professional, right? And I'm able to see things from a 50,000 foot view or something like that. I always feel that's the best when we're talking about media. I always find it funny that people come here and shit, and they be like, it'd always be the people who get mad at me, right? First they'll have 10,000 comments on my channel. They'll say some stupid shit, right? And it'll go left because you know I'm going to say something, right? And you get mad and shit. You're a male Karen, you get mad. Then it's all of a sudden like, why are you covering the Seahawks anyway? Like, I bet you they be snapping their fingers and moving their necks when they say that shit. That's why I be imagining shit. Why are you covering the Seattle Seahawks anyway? You're not even a Seahawks fan. I'm like, man, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life, right? The fact that people want somebody to be a fan of their team, to me, lets me know that they've never ever played football. They're not even trying to get neutral analysis, right? They're trying to get sunshine pumped in that ass. You feel me? Like that shit is crazy to me, right? To me, you would want somebody like me who is neutral and who is not trying to kiss anyone's ass, right? Do I look like I'm trying to kiss anybody's ass? I always laugh at that shit when people talk about, or they try to put me in a category talking about some clickbait or whatever they try to say and shit. I'm like, damn, you not hear the shit that I say inside of my content, right? I challenge people on some of their most popular players. You're not doing that if you're trying to pump sunshine. You know what I'm saying? Get it right. Some people will take something, right, like a thumbnail or something like that. Like, listen, we have to do that shit in this business, right? You get a lot of these people, they do the same exact thumbnails. They all say the same shit, right? This is unfair. Big letters and shit like that. They did not want the NFL. The NFL did not want this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does. Everybody's got to do that shit because it's a meat market, right? It's 50 million people trying to do the same shit. And anybody can literally do it, right? Yeah, a lot of people pick up a camera and shit, all of a sudden they in the business, right? So that's why I always feel like being in the business prior to being on YouTube separates me. And you can tell by the way that I handle the business portion of it that I come from there. And you can tell the way that I do the analysis, right? It's neutral analysis. I think that the Seattle Seahawks is just one of these teams, man, that's on a severe come up. I like the direction of the team, and maybe some things will have to change, but I'm always the one that like, damn, won't you give Mike Macdonald a chance to actually assimilate a team the way that he would structure it? Think about where he comes from, right? He's a John Harbaugh disciple. John Harbaugh is an Andy Reid disciple. If you see some of the stuff that's with John Harbaugh, very much some of the same type of stuff that was with the Philadelphia Eagles under the Andy Reid regime. I always say it, and I will maintain this. I have a lot of love for Baltimore, the city of Baltimore. Obviously, I used to live in Baltimore, and the Baltimore Ravens, right? I really do love the Baltimore Ravens. I love everything about that city and everything like that, right? Real gritty ass East Coast city, and that team fits that. Right? It's the hardest team in the league, the hardest franchise in the league. And notice that no matter what they do right now, they have their best passing attack I think I've ever seen. Right? I told people for years, covering the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is the best doing it. Like, straight up, he just needed the talent around him. A lot of these people, like Patrick Mahomes, have these all-world talents that's all-world talents without Patrick Mahomes, right? Not to discredit Patrick Mahomes because, arguably he's the best. He's the man. There's no doubt about that there. But, man, does Tyreek Hill need Patrick Mahomes to be Tyreek Hill? No, we saw that. He's even better numbers under Tua Tagovailoa. Travis Kelce is a Hall of Famer, and he was damn good playing with Alex Smith prior to Patrick Mahomes. They have a great run game. They usually have a really good defense, and they have the best, to me, play caller, my all-time favorite coach. Right, I'm a Andy Reid stan. They have that going for themselves. John Harbaugh, very much similar. Although he leans even more on the run than Andy Reid did, John Harbaugh came and established himself, really able to catch fire with having those dope-ass defenses, and then went to the 3-4 defenses where he was traditionally under an even front alignment with Andy Reid back then when he was a long-time Philadelphia Eagles assistant. So, being able to find what you do best. Now, if you talk about Coach Macdonald, is this Coach Macdonald's final product? He hired a guy like Ryan Grubb, who I told people, I'm like, you're going to have to get used to it's going to be different. The guy's obviously a passing game guru. I don't like his run game. I don't like his use of the run game, but you can't argue against the fact that the dude is just the truth with passing concepts. At least 20 to 20, right? All right. Before he gets into the roaring 20s, he's the truth. Now, the red zone shit, I think he can be better at, right? It was a lot of the same issues with Shane Waldron as well. So a lot of people going to tie the fact that you have Geno Smith tying those two guys in together, but maybe that's, what I'm saying? You have to say that that's part of the problem. Geno Smith needs to get better in the red zone. But they called some bullshit-ass plays in the red zone, and these are two straight offensive coordinators that I would think are more of passing game guys. I thought Shane Waldron would be more of a run game guy because if, as great as Sean McVay is, a lot of his best shit comes with ground and pound and great defense, right? They're getting Matthew Stafford, they were able to do a little bit better in the passing game. Of course, with Jared Goff, I think he's better than Matthew Stafford, but just the way they like to play with Goff with the play action and all that. They opening up a little bit more with Matthew Stafford. But as you can see, Jared Goff in Detroit, they opened it all the way up, and he's that dude, right? He's damn good. So the second year, like I was tying this back to covering the Atlanta Falcons, the second year under Dan Quinn, a guy who is funny. Remember when we're up for coaching, right? The first person that everybody wanted to talk about was Dan Quinn. He won in a landslide in my poll, right? Remember that? Then they had that Dallas Cowboys, I forget who they played in the, I think it was Green Bay. They played them in the playoff game, and they had a bad showing on defense. All of a sudden, you get internet dweebs who change their mind, or they don't even change their mind. They try to pretend like they didn't say what they say or what they said prior. And to me, that shit is corny, right? That's when you do polls and you have people put comments down prior, and then you see what people are really about. But people try to pretend, and then you see the numbers. Then Dan Quinn ended up as the last in the list from one poll to the next. And then when Mike Macdonald is struggling, guess who people start pointing towards? Dan Quinn, because he's killing it in Washington. So it's funny how shit goes like that, right? But when Dan Quinn was in Atlanta Falcons, his first year with Kyle Shanahan, it looked a lot like this Seattle Seahawks year, right? It was a lot of up and down. People were trying to find themselves. This guy's a first-time head coach. He needs to be able to find his way, find his style of play. It didn't look good for Kyle Shanahan. A lot of the Falcons fans wanted him fired after his first season. They're doing a lot of this shit in Seattle. You guys are with Ryan Grubb as well. I'm seeing that start to take shape as well. Now, Kyle Shanahan is is somebody who I mad respect for as far as what he does. I love his ground and pound mentality. I remember when I was covering the Saints, I suggested that Sean Payton hire Kyle Shanahan to kind of, right the ship when they had, it's hard to right the ship with the Saints. That's one of the greatest franchises, especially when I was covering them. And Sean Payton, to me, is Andy Reid almost reincarnated. He's that damn good. You can see what he's doing with the Broncos. It's funny, a lot of you Seattle fans tried to trash him because of his dealings with Chef Russell Wilson last year, but he's not the type of quarterback that Sean Payton works well with. Bo Nix is. He almost has Bo Nix damn near winning the Rookie of the Year. Bo Nix looking very good at times under Sean Payton. Only going to get better there. So Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn were able to get it together this second year, and then you see what happened. They went to the Super Bowl and damn near won the damn thing. I'm not saying that's going to happen for Seattle, but the second year of a regime is usually when shit starts to take shape. Mike Macdonald's going to get into in the offseason, and he's going to be thinking like, man, all right, I was able to get through that. I got the experience. Is this the way that I want to go? I wouldn't take Mike Macdonald for somebody who would like Ryan Grubb as an offensive coordinator, right? Could he be kind of, a one-year guy, a stopgap coordinator to where he would go and then hire somebody a little bit more in line, right? I thought of Seattle. I don't know anything about the city of Seattle. I wouldn't think of it as some type of gritty city. I'm just, that's just my thoughts there, right? You can say whatever you want to say, right? I live in Philadelphia. I live in the city of Philadelphia. I lived in South Jersey. I live in Baltimore, right? These are extremely gritty places, and the Baltimore Ravens fit that. But I always thought Seattle Seahawks was a West Coast juggernaut as far as that run game and being super physical. That was a super physical team. Mike Macdonald's defense to me looks like it could be very super physical, but then he's supplementing that or complementing that with a very finesse offense, right? The shit is mind-blowing to me how finesse the Seattle Seahawks are under Mike Macdonald as even opposed to Coach Carroll. Right? Coach Carroll comes from that West Coast offense, but he was all about some ground and pound. He was all about some physical defense. I can see what they liked in Mike Macdonald as far as his scheme goes and his ability to coach up players and shit like that. And you see, once he got his guy, and Ernest Jones, who fits more of what he wanted, he's just going to have to be trial and error. He's going to have to go through people, right? Even on the offensive side of the ball, clearly there was something going on with Connor Williams there. And I thought it looked a lot better when Olu Oluwatimi was put in his place. So that ties all into the offensive line stuff that I was talking about. The Baltimore Ravens normally has a big-ass offensive line that leans on people and traditionally has been a tough running outfit. I know the Seattle Seahawks fans wanted a passing offense, especially when they seen what the University of Washington could do with Ryan Grubb, but I don't know. I wouldn't totally poo-poo on it. Obviously, it's doing what it's supposed to do. They're third in passing yards. Their much maligned quarterback is still, with all those damn yards that he's thrown for, he's still throwing 70% completion. Right? He has a 70% completion rate. That shit is crazy. So there's another topic I want to get. I might have to come back and do another one next week on some of the shit that I was talking about in the comment section there when people are talking about Geno Smith always makes mistakes. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, damn, he's not making any more mistakes than the consensus top two quarterbacks out there, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Those guys are known for throwing interceptions as well, right? But you take the good with the bad because they also throw for a lot of yards and they're very efficient, right, at least for the most part. But Geno Smith more efficient than both of those guys with completion percentages, and he's up there in yards with those guys, and people still can't understand that. I mean, that's a high-risk, high-reward type offense that you're doing. You're going to make some mistakes. You're constantly putting the ball in the air. I would like to see the Seattle Seahawks, man, kind of go back to their roots and with the physical offense there. I think Geno Smith works well under both, but, you know what I mean, if we're just talking about the future, man, Geno Smith, like I said before, I honestly wish he would go to another team or just so Seattle Seahawks fans can have something different to chew on, right? Those Seattle Seahawks fans that it applies to. If it doesn't apply to you, I don't know how many times I got to tell you people, if it doesn't apply to you, stop raising your hand. I'm only talking to the people who I'm talking to. If it does not apply to you, why are you bothered by it? I'm not going to sit up there. I can't name individual Seahawks fans. I'm talking to the people who don't like Geno Smith for whatever reason. Those are the people I'm talking to. If it's not you, shut the fuck up. God damn. Shit is crazy to me, right? We don't get down like that here on the East Coast, right? We don't raise our hands for some shit that doesn't apply to us. That's just how it goes. So I wish you guys would stop doing that. I'm not talking about you if the shoe doesn't fit. With that being said, you can make an argument that he could totally overhaul the offensive line and come with better results. Now, I'm going to give Abe Lucas a pass. I was trying to tell somebody in the comment section, right? Might put him dumbass of the week, right? Not quite, but just kind of a weird exchange there. He asked me if Abe Lucas could move to guard, right? And I was like, why? I was like, damn, let the dude get some playing time on his belt. Why does he need to move to guard? When he was playing tackle and he was healthy, he was destroying people out there. I think Abe Lucas be better than Charles Cross, and that's saying a lot because I think Charles Cross is pretty talented, but at full health, he's as good as Charles Cross, if not better, right? To me, Charles Cross is taking a step back, right? At least the more data we have on Charles Cross, we can see that I don't think he's not that guy, at least not in my opinion there. But Abe Lucas, to me, he was that guy at the right tackle position. Obviously, right tackle, left tackle, a lot of the times you might have different schedules, right? You might have a tougher schedule on the primary side of the offensive line, right? Or at least the strength for the quarterback protecting his blind side. But these days, man, you get a lot of T.J. Watts and Nick Bosa's playing on the other side as well, too, so it's even hard to say that. But I think Abe Lucas, when healthy, he'll be just fine. That's my opinion there. But the dude asked could he move to guard, and I was like, well, why this and that, whatever. Then he said so he could play better. Right? And I was like, damn, whatever like that. Then he came back, and I don't know, some of these dudes just be talking, right? They don't even know what they say. I was like, you said so he could play better? I was like, like, damn, let the man come back. He's probably not even 75% healthy. Like, give the dude a chance. I was like, man, some of you Seahawks fans are just too impatient, right? So if we're talking about Abe Lucas, I would be good with Abe Lucas if I was you guys, right? I would at least give him a chance to be healthy and then see where it goes from there. The right guard position there between LeMaya, Christian Haynes, and Anthony Bradford, yeah, right. I can see something in kind of each one of those guys with all of them obviously having a short tenure, a couple of rookies, and then a second-year player. Maybe the answer's not between those three, but man, you do have three young bodies there. Maybe something will get sorted out there in the future. I like what I see from LeMaya. Christian Haynes, I was saying it when he was in the game. People were getting on Anthony Bradford, but I thought that Christian Haynes looked as bad or if not worse than your man Bradford. So, and coaches backed me up with that as well by naming that man pretty much the permanent starter before he got hurt, he being Bradford. So, yeah. Man, he'll get that sorted out right there. I wouldn't totally give up on those guys. The answer could probably be there with maybe one of them. You know what? This is what I like right here. So, right, the young guys, right? So you got another second-year guy in Oluwatimi. That should be your center there. Jalen Sundell. Now, you can tell Jalen Sundell was I say he was pretty effective, right? They highlighted his athleticism and getting out on the perimeter and all that. I wouldn't mind seeing that at a left guard spot. Laken Tomlinson, he's a placeholder for now, right? He's not very good. I've told y'all that before, right? Laken Tomlinson, to me, is doo-doo butter, right? With Jalen Sundell at left guard, your man Oluwatimi at center, and then combination between Haynes and Bradford at right guard. I think for the foreseeable future, I can see something like that working out. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, right? So I wouldn't mind. I don't know the injury status right now of my man Oluwatimi, but if he was able to get back in there, I wouldn't mind seeing Sundell work in a little bit at left guard. Maybe you don't totally bench Lakin Thompson. You are in the middle of a playoff race too, so I hate to break it to people, right? When you get a bad loss like you did there, and then coming up playing the Vikings, who could probably do the same to the Seattle Seahawks again, or you know what I'm saying, the Seahawks maybe could. You never know how things happen, man. On any given Sunday, right? I always love that term. On any given Sunday, you just do not know what could happen. So maybe the Seahawks could take it to the Vikings, but you do have to keep in mind that you're in a playoff race. So you're probably going to want to get as much veteran leadership or just veteran presence out there as possible. So we probably wouldn't see him working in with Lakin Thompson, although he should. And then at left tackle, Charles Cross, man, next year is going to be a prove-it year for him, of course, and contract year. He needs to come with it, man. He does not look that good to me at all. So if they would get that under control, to me, you got to hit the draft again. You got to work something out in free agency, man. They got to go for it. You can't afford everybody. It's a lot of talent, right? A lot of talent on these Seattle Seahawks, but you got to somehow start to look at that offensive line, man. Even if you got to get rid and make some tough decisions, right? Even if it was an Abe Lucas or somebody like that, man, something's got to change there. To me, it's holding the entire program back. The Seattle Seahawks right now with a good offensive line, yeah, hell on wheels. Hell on wheels. I'm telling you that right now, right? Even with Geno Smith, right, and Ryan Grubb and all this that people are down on, the Seattle Seahawks would be that much better, right? I think a lot of shit would come into play or come into focus. I even think the red zone issues could possibly clear up. We saw the red zone issues really crop up these last couple of seasons, and that's been 2 seasons with poor offensive line play. So that's got to count for something, right? You can't always be about your feelings, man. Facts over feelings, bro. The offensive line sucks. It's doodle butter trash dookie. Got to get that under control, man. So we'll see how that works out, but I'm definitely interested to see the direction of the offensive line in the offseason and see what Mike Macdonald really does as far as the offensive coordinator. So let me know what you think about Ryan Grubb. Should he be, right, a lone wolf season, or should they go ahead and give him another shot, see what he can do? He's going to have to really search inside himself as well, man, and really try to hone in on the run a little bit better. And you can't think that it's college. Especially when you have a poor offensive line. Maybe if they had a better offensive line, they could throw the ball all around the yard like he wants to do. But, man, with a poor offensive line, man, it just seems sometimes like you're spitting in the wind. So, yeah. Well, let me know what you think about that, man. All right, before I get up out of here, though, should I do Dumbasses of the Week, man? I even hate to give some of these clowns shine, right? Especially the clowns who I'd be like, listen, don't watch me. Just don't watch me, right? You got all this bad shit to say about me and all this and that, but you continue to watch me. You got umpteen amount of comments on my channel, but when shit goes left, then you want to, you know what I'm saying, start popping off, right? You know what I mean? I don't really think much of it, to be honest with you, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm a real, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of them, right? I'm with the shits and all that. I've been my whole life with that, right? In person, you niggas couldn't see me, bro, for real. So you popping off somewhere on the internet, anonymous, this dude's using DK Metcalf's name and shit like that. To me, that already shows me that you're a loser. You got to be a virgin. You know what I mean? You got to be a virgin or something. You using another man's name and profile picture and shit. That shit is corny to me, dude. So, I mean, I figured this cat he's just in his feelings and shit like that, right? I said in the comment section, I was like, just let Geno go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just let him go to another team, because people like to come in these joints and they be like, yeah, we'll get Geno and sign him to an extension and all this. And I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm like, why? Why? I mean, the commentary, the fan angst, all that shit, people wanting to see Sam Howell, all this and that, and Drew Lock and this and that. Like, why not just move on? You know what I'm saying? Just move on. It's not like the guy's 25 years old. So, you know what I mean? Why be that? To me, it has to be hard to play quarterback when you have a lot of that shit. You're dealing with a lot of shit on the field anyway. You're hamstrung about poor offensive line, and then you got to worry about this and that with the media and some of the fans and all this shit like that, to me, is not worth it, right? So he wants to get all in his feelings, like, you always crying in the comment section. And I'm thinking, like, aren't you crying in the comment section, thinking I'm worried about what I'm doing? These people will literally go behind, right? They'll see some shit and see what my response is. You click on the internet, go to my video, go in my comment section just to see what I'm saying. You don't even make your own original comment. These people just want to see if they can have something to say to me. It's just all about wanting my attention. That's all it is, right? So, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a motherfucker what they want. I just tell them, don't watch me. Cool. Don't watch me. Then they come back and say some more shit. I'm like, all right, cool. Don't watch me. That's just the sentiment right there. I don't give a shit about you. Don't watch me. You won't stop here. You won't stop nothing I'm doing here. You didn't start anything I have going here, so you could never stop it. And these people know that shit, right? So that's why they get all frustrated, because they can't stop shit. That's why they be like, well, won't you stop covering the Seahawks? I'm like, yeah, as if, bro. I'm going to stop because of you. You know what I mean? I didn't start because of you, right? I only started, and I told this 50 million times. And you people bugged me to cover the Seattle Seahawks. I finally obliged, and we here. So, you know what I'm saying? 4 seasons later, we've been doing it. So, right, whether I move on or not, that's not anyone else's decision. It's only my decision. It has nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? You don't matter to anybody in life, period. And you especially don't matter to me. So think about that. Keep it logical. Stop being delusional, man. That's all I'm saying out there. So we'll see what the future holds. But as far as the Seattle Seahawks and people coming in, I think he was saying some goofy shit too, right? He was like, first he said, you only do this for the views and shit like that. And then he came back and was like, well, you don't get many views. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, cool. Don't watch me, man. I'm like, I ain't got time for all this bullshit, right? So we'll see what the future holds. But I told people before, right, covering East Coast team or multiple East Coast teams at the same time, it just can't happen, right? I tried before. They play at the same time. The Seahawks usually play at a later time window, so I'm able to stagger content. And then the Seahawks fan base obviously wakes up a little bit later. So when I wake up East Coast time, I don't have to be on demon time, right? Trying to cover a team, I'm able to work a little bit more comfortable. So we'll see what that holds, right? But my bread and butter was college football. I'm actually been enjoying the last couple of seasons just being able to just live life on Saturdays there. So I was thinking about going back to college football, but I really don't even want to work on Saturdays anymore. I did enough college football, but, you know, man, I'm a businessman, so we'll see what goes on. But, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, some dumbass, they do the same shit. It's like dumbass 101, right? They get mad after saying 50 million times or commenting 50 million times, and then they all of a sudden they say, well, stop covering the Seahawks, as if they're the Seahawks. Like, well, fuck, I'm covering football. I ain't got shit to do with you, bro. Hop off a bridge, you know what I mean? Do that for me, you know what I'm saying? Do us both a favor. Hop off a bridge, you know what I mean, with no parachute. So, yeah, so here we are with that one right there. I don't remember the other dumbass of the week. Oh, yeah, it was some clown, right? I mean, this dude's been going on and on for like the better part of a year, right? I told him 50 million times, hit don't recommend channel, bro. You're not going to change anything. You not nothing. You nothing to me, man. You a peon. So why you think you matter to me? He think he going to teach me a lesson or some shit, right? You know what I mean? One time he was like, I ain't done with you or some shit like that. I'm like, type of goofy, fruity pebble in the tank shit is that, right? You got Splenda and Xylitol in your tank talking like that. But I'm like, okay, when will we ever anything, bro? I don't know you. I don't know you exist. So I'm like, cool, hit don't recommend channel. But nope, dude comes back every couple of months, which means he definitely watches all the time. He tried to come back talking about some shit, right? He said he wants to teach me a lesson or something like that I'm not always right. This is some weird shit. But I'm just like, dude, stop watching me. Get the fuck on, man. Like, get a life, bro. Like, I'm just appalled about how people, you know what I'm saying, carry themselves on the internet, right? Like I said before, it wouldn't happen in real life. Niggas would be very quiet. You know what I mean? In real life, they'd be very polite. So I always know that. But you tell somebody hit that don't recommend channel or don't watch me, they don't ever do it. They're listening right now. Guarantee you 1,000%. And they know it too. All right? But like I said before, much love to everybody out there. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all my top billing villains. We'll see how this Minnesota Vikings game goes. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not, man, we'll be back to talk about it, right? Pain, toxic levels on 12 out of 10 and all that shit like that. We keep trekking, right? So we'll see what's going on. But definitely much love to everybody out there who supports the movement of your boy, Murf Baldwin, top billing villains out in this bitch. All right? Salute.